Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for Master Division here for the Vineyard Acres 9-hole cup. The video is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic, and before we start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and also visit golfclashtommy.com for more Golf Clash related content for free. You can get the ultimate tournament guides which are out for the Vineyard Acres 9-hole cup by going to patreon.com/golfclashtommy. Obviously, every other tournament this month will be included in the same package. And yes, I said that I wouldn't do a master playthrough, but in the end, due to a ton of requests in our community, I decided to in the end do that, because there is a lot of our followers here that are stepping up to master, taking a stab, do want to get to the final round, do want to have a chance for a banner, because mini tournaments, or 9-hole cups, but I call them mini tournaments, are honestly a super good chance to get a master banner. It doesn't have to be a top 3 banner, but a top 10 or maybe just a weekend or like a final round banner is massive to have on your account, and it, makes you feel proud. Just follow the info box on the right hand side, find the elevation adjustment for every shot, what type of ball and what type of club. And I would have to say, if you're planning playing master and not expecting yourself playing with any type of win balls, then I would say master might not be the division for you. I'm not saying it's impossible, I'm just saying that we are playing with win 4 balls in master pretty regularly, and that's something to at least have in mind. Also, can we get this video up to 100 likes? That would be I would be so thankful and so thankful for that. I don't know, I can't speak today. In the end though, let's freaking go to hole number 1 here in Master, and good luck in the tournament. For hole number 1 here in Master, we are going to play with the Apocalypse because we do need curl. Play with a power 3, win 5, side spin 1 ball. The summit ball is the ball that I'm choosing here. Now I want to play this one with an Apocalypse level 5 to display that this drive is absolutely possible to do even as low with an Apocalypse level 5. I do believe that Apocalypse 4 will still manage to get there. Red ring by the rough line in absolute max distance, and then we do adjust maximum distance with a 20% over adjustment, and last but not least we're gonna go with full curl of the Apocalypse level 5, and then last but not least we're going to go with 5 rings of overpower when it comes to Apocalypse level 5 and 6. If you do play with an Apocalypse level 7 or 8, you go with half of the blue ring inside the rough to the right, and you're going to apply all but half a ball of curl, and then the difference with overpower is that you're going to go with 3 rings instead of 5. Now we will get in two type of situations here. One, we will be in short iron minimum range, and then I will go for the dunk. And the dunk, due to the green being pretty, bumpy, and also that I don't want to use a wedge with a lot of topspin, so I go for a dunk with my short iron. If we are in the position where I were there, we're going to play the dunk minimum distance with a 10% under adjustment, meaning that the shot is going to be played uphill. So here I do play 2.1, which is a decimal too much when it comes to, getting accurate. And you're gonna notice here that I also get pretty far back into the cup here. So a decimal less or 2 would definitely be better. If we do get a long drive, which is gonna happen sometimes with Apocalypse level 7 and level 8, then we are going to be in wedge range. And if we are in the position where we're not in max distance, but we are close to it, then we will use max side spin to the right, trying to use the bottom part of the white ring being very close, the bottom part of the blue ring to be very close to the fringe there, with the ball guideline going slightly through the hole. Sometimes you might have to use a little top spin to get there and stuff like that, and make sure that you're not having a glitchy spot for your bounce. Maximum distance, no elevation, power 3 ball settings is what I would play this wedge at. Now I do play this one only 1-1, and that's where I base my max distance adjustment from, because max distance with end ringer 8 is half a ring more, and you can see that we got short, but we just fold in. But no matter what though, hole number 1 needs to be an eagle here in Master. For hole number 2, we are going to attempt a rough bump, and here you can play with whatever power 1 or 0 ball that do have side spin 3 and wind 5, so there is plenty of balls to choose between. 2.8 top spin, max left spin, ball guideline just shy of the hole. And then we're going to adjust, and I would like you to try to adjust with as close to a 12 in pull angle. Minus 10% is what I do want we to go with here, and power 1 ball setting, and that is based on this shot here missing the cup on the left, meaning that this shot is slightly under adjusted in my opinion. We will come in a little hot, but I will still take it though, because if we do hit the pin it will still drop. So minus 10%, power 1 numbers, minimum distance, quarterback, and then whatever wind 5, side spin 3, power 0/1 ball. For hole number 3, we come to a hole which is going to be super duper important when it comes to thinking about tiebreaker and also giving yourself a very good spot in for the final round. Now I'm going with max topspin, I'm going with as much side spin to the right possible, and I'm using a power 3 wind 5 side spin 1 ball. Red ring by the rough line to the right, and I would say here that I would have no issues if you would move out a little bit more from the rough, giving yourself at least 3 rings in my opinion, because now with a bad great right with an apocalypse of 5, we will most likely clip the rough, and then it's kind of game over, making an albatross on this hole. And you can see even with a bad great left, we get into the center of the fairway. That's also speak towards my theory of moving more left. Maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment, push up to max, and then we're going to go max over power and max a curl. And we're going to look for a yardage that is around 405 plus. And here it's either going to be short iron or it's going to be a long iron towards the pin. And we're gonna go for the rough bump. 4 bars of topspin is what it's used here. You use somewhere between 4.5. Now you can see the yellow ring as position. We want that yellow ring to be above the rough. This to compensate for us now falling down into the rough a bit further, and so we're not going to lose speed and fall back again after we're taking our shot. No elevation whatsoever, and I play this one slightly less than max. I have 0.2 rings decimals less than max for my adjustment, and we get it in on the right side of the cup. An albatross here will be massive in terms of tiebreaker. Once again, you will have different distances after the drive, but you can in sort of, if you note down and are quick on that, noting down the yardage, you will being semi-dialed in on this one in the final round. If you do get to yardage that is around 400 up to 404, 405, you will most likely play with a long iron instead, and then it's a minimum distance, and I would recommend 2 bars of topspin to get the correct speed towards the pin. For hole number 4, we are also going to attempt a rough bump. We go max topspin, 1 bar of right spin, and this shot can only be played with sniper level 10. A sniper level 9 does not have enough topspin. Ball guideline to be just right side of the cup, not the pin, the cup. Like then the red ring just slightly overlapping the rough and the fairway there. Then we're going to adjust maximum distance, no elevation whatsoever, with power 1 ball setting, which is going to be 1-to-1 minus 0.1 in adjustment. And for those of you that do not want to work with calculator and stuff, I can tell you with whatever type of wind you're gonna have, like it's gonna be somewhere between 7.2 to 8.6 miles per hour, it's still going to be 1-to-1 minus 0.1. We take and hit perfect, and in the end, you know, we are super duper unlucky not getting that one in. Last piece in the puzzle, a slight 1159 pull angle there to keep to take ourselves a little bit more up. And in the end, this is going to be a very good chance for us making a hole-in-one here on hole number 4. So this is going to be the toughest of the par 5s in my opinion. And the reason I do think that it's because of the straight headwind. I'm using a baseball which is the same as the 3-point ball as you can see in the info box. and max topspin, 2 bars of right spin, and then we're going to go red ring by the rough line to the right. If you do play with an Apocalypse level 5 or 6, you go half of the red ring inside the rough to the right. Maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment, and now we're going to go full blast overpower and try to gain as much distance possible. A bad great left will most likely end up into the rough, and that's going to be very difficult then for you to get and save the eagle. Those of you playing with Apocalypse level 5 or 4 or even level 6 for that matter will struggle big time getting the distance here. The thing that I can tell you though from playing that shot with an Apocalypse level 5 is that you will get past the trees, but you're going to have a different angle towards the green for the second shot. The second shot I'm playing a single bounce on the rough, then second bounce into the rough to roll out on the other side. I'm using all but one top spin bar here, trying to visualize the second bounce to be in the middle of the rough. Adjusting maximum distance with no elevation whatsoever, going with approximately 3/4 of a ball outside the adjustment ring to the left. And then we're going to apply all from 1 to 5 rings of overpower, depending on how much into overpower we do need to adjust. A great left is way better than a great right, and the plan here is obviously have the second bounce into the rough to then roll out. Have in mind once again that if you do have a shorter drive than what I have, you have a different angle, and therefore you will have to go with more curl. And curl is going to be based by feeling, as it's not going to be the same all the time. So please have that in mind and be very focused on that shot. If you go into the rough or into the sand, it's not the end of the world, but it's going to obviously be more difficult making an eagle here on this very tough par 5 of the Vineyard Acres. For hole number 6, I'm going to give you 2 options. One that is, I would say, a more safe approach, where we're not risking the water whatsoever. And then the second one is going to be a power hook towards the green. I'm using the rock here to give myself, a distance, like decent distance, but also a good accuracy and a good ball guideline. Now, playing this one with 3 top and 3 right spin, looking at the blue ring by the rough line to the right with ball guideline pointing straight down the middle. Adjustment maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment is what we're gonna do. Obviously, now we need to make sure to hit perfect. Unfortunately, I do hit a great right because I did run out of time on that shot. But even with a great right, as you can see, the accuracy with the rock will be tremendously helpful. With an Apocalypse level 5, level 6, we will most likely clip the rough in some sort. Second shot, we are going to play this one medium distance with a minus 10% under adjustment. And I'm going to look for half of the blue ring to the red ring by the rough there. And in the end, I decide to go with the red ring by the rough, trying to find that little sticky spot that I feel is there at that point. First and foremost, I'm using backspin so I can be a little bit short of pin, but at the pin. And then after that, I do offset with 1.5 bar side spin to the left. And the reason I do offset is because, as you can see, we are already close to the rough. And to compensate for the secondary bounce wind effect, we will have to add side spin and offset our ball guideline instead of adding more adjustment. Because if we add more adjustment, we're going to risk having the ball bounce into the rough directly. But with side spin, we can compensate that one already from the start, and then we do not have to risk anything, even with a great left. And obviously with a perfect, that would have been close, but that shot is obviously very difficult to get any drops on, and that's why we're looking to maybe go for a power hook instead. Okay, so now we're going to go for a power hook, and here I'm using 5.5 bar top spin, max left spin. So this shot can be made even with an Apocalypse level 5. When it comes to Apocalypse level 7 and 8, we stretch out the max, leaving the white ring approximately 1 ring from the rough to the right. And then we're going to go full blast power hook, trying to obviously get this ball over into the green area of some sort. Do I expect this ball to be on green? No, I don't. I expect myself at least though to be either in the rough or into the sand very close to the green, and then I can try to get that one in, which I do believe is going to be easier than trying to lay up. We can take the drive once again though, due to the fact that it went really quick. When it comes to Apocalypse level 5 and level 6, I would strongly recommend to actually keep yourself in the position that we do have here, due to it having less curl. And in the end, it's always risky when we're trying to mirror a landing position, and that's why I would strongly recommend that if you don't feel comfortable with just 1% with this shot, you should play the safe way instead. Because the thing that we're gambling with is that if you clip the rough trying to go left, then the ball is gonna go into the water, and then it's bye-bye, you know. Then then you might even gonna be getting a par. And sure, we might want to take the risk when it comes to it's 9 holes and we don't have to, we just need to make it like 1 or 2 times. But in the end, go with the safe route if you do feel very uncomfortable with this power hook here, trying to get to green. Apocalypse level 5 minimum, we do want to have a wind that is 13.5 to 14.2. So if you do have a wind that is too high with a Berserker, I would recommend you to choose a ball that has wind 2 instead of the wind 1 as the Berserker has, but still keep the power 5, like Rose Ball for an example. For hole number 7, we're gonna play a pretty crazy shot. We play with the rocket in absolute minimum distance with a power 0, wind 5, side spin 3 ball. 7 bars of backspin, 3 bars of right side spin. And then we do have the yellow ring to the top right by the rough, with the blue ring inside the rough to the left. And now once we're done, we're going to do adjust, and we're going to give ourselves 12 in adjustments, so no pull angle, at least intended, and then we're going to pull over the bullseye, very important. And then we're gonna try to take just a normal shot, and we are playing with minimum distance minus 15% power 0 ball settings. And obviously I'm not expecting this one to drop all the time, but as good as opportunity this becomes with this type of shot, I don't think we can get any better this early in the tournament. And one thing that I can say to you as well, if you do not have any or let's say that you don't have many power 0, wind 5, side spin 3 balls, start with a ball like that, make your adjustment, pull your rings, and then you change to like a power 1, wind 5, side spin 3 ball instead, and you will still be able to play the same type of adjustment with that. For hole number 8, we're going to use the Apocalypse once again. Now, blue ring by the rough line, I'm using 3 bars of backspin, max side spin to the right, and we are in complete maximum distance. Now for the adjustment, I would like you to play with a drive that do have 1159 pull angle. The reason for that is that then we will pull ourselves a little bit more left, and then we will also prevent us from going into the rough with a great right. Great left is better than a great right, even though we already prevented from going into the rough with a great right. And we do want to go max overpower after we pushed up our drive to max, just to gain distance and not having to, dabble to go in between when it comes to overpower. So an aggressive drive, but I do have a plan with that. Max plus 10 is the adjustment. Apocalypse level 5 and level 6, you will use half of the blue ring inside the rough to the right instead of the blue ring, as Apocalypse level 7 and 8 will do. Second shot, we go with the B52 or the Grizzly, depending on what club you have in, or let's say like this, if you have the B52 in level 7 plus, you use the B52. Otherwise, you should consider using the Grizzly if you have the Grizzly level 7 plus and you're not having the B52 in better than level 6. That's because we do want to have the ball guideline. So I'm going 1.2 backspin, max left spin, bottom part of the yellow ring by the start of the rough, ball guideline to the hole. Now from this distance, I do adjust medium distance, no elevation. And here it's obviously very difficult, as this is not a linear hole, so yardage notes mean nothing really. So we do need to stretch out to look for max, look for min, and then try to judge and base our adjustment after that. The ball will bounce, and it will bounce over the fringe to take away the risk of a glitch roll, and then we were close getting it in, but we needed a little bit less adjustment there to get that one in. So in the end, it's hard to judge how much you need to adjust, but this is definitely the best chance we can get for making an eagle on a tough par 4 like hole number 8. Last but not least, we do have hole number 9, and here I'm going to play with the white ring to the left side rough in max distance. 4 bars of topspin, ball guideline straight down the middle. So very simple drive. Maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment. We should not push up our club into max. We should just go the normal adjustment, and then it's time to take our shot. You can play with whatever type of ball here that is a Wind 4 Power 3 ball, in my opinion. Doesn't have to have side spin 2 or 3. The reason I displayed the Centurion in the info box is because it's a recognizable ball, but whatever Wind 4 Power 3 ball you're having can be played. So Pine Cone, Mummy Ball, Vintage Ball, there is so many of those balls that you can play with to just reduce the wind a little bit but keep the Power 3. Because here we do need a little power for the second shot, and use the Cataclysm to give yourself the topspin but also the distance. Now I'm pretty far back after my drive, and then I will be using a lot of topspin. I'm not interested in getting, risking going into the rough on top, but I'm definitely interested in getting past the trees on the right so I have an open shot towards the pin. Maximum distance, no elevation, push up to max, and if we are so far back like we were now, we're going to go with a bit of overpower, and overpower or not, that is something you will have to judge based on your position after your drive. Now going to the third shot. Now I'm using a reference where I stretch out to max, looking at where is my thorn in absolute max distance. And now I'm looking for where the pin are. It's in the middle of the white ring. So from that spot, I'm going to play no elevation, 68% slider. And this shot here is played with a little bit too much of an adjustment here. And that's where I base my 68% slider at. So we also adjust the third shot without pulling over the bullseye. So we pull towards the ball guideline there in the center, and then we're going to take our shot. Have in mind that if you pull over the bullseye, you will gain more to your adjustment, and therefore you will not be accurate with the slider adjustment there. So getting to the right, and I just want to have a disclaimer already. I misworded myself, and I did use too little of an adjustment, not too much. That's why we missed to the right, because the ball pushed more right. But 68% slider with no elevation is the adjustment when the pin is in the middle of the white ring. So always check that first, and then try to base your adjustment after that. Thank you so much everybody for watching this playthrough for Master Division. Yeah, I know I said I wouldn't do a Master Division playthrough, but due to all the requests, I wanted to pull one out there for you all, as there is a lot of people stepping up to Master, even though with Apocalypse level 5 and 4s, which I do feel still has a good opportunity, even though some of the holes are very difficult. In the end, hit thumbs up if you enjoy the work that we're doing here and that you enjoy the video. Get the ultimate tournament guides, which are out for Master and for all of the divisions in the Vineyard Acres 9-hole cup by going to patreon.com/golfclashtommy. The video is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. A massive good luck in the Vineyard Acres 9-hole cup.